Okay, 15 seconds. All right.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you. Hey everyone, this is DG. How's it? I hope you all having a good time with this lovely marathon. And I'm starting off the Sega block. So with me on commentary is from the Sega crew, No Diggity. No Diggity, can you say hello?
Great to be here.
All right, so I'm sure he'll make this commentary interesting. So I'm gonna start the timer when I hit start right here at this menu right here. All right, let's start this off. 3, 2, 1. Go. Take it away, No Diggity.
All right. Well, real quick, since ZG's going to jump through it, we'll give you a little backstory in this game. So apparently Donald wants to get rich, and he heard about King Garuzia's treasure. So the infamous Pete's gang actually saw his plans for this and decided that they were going to step into that. So then afterwards, Donald wanted to give Daisy a gift, but he didn't tell her what his plans were. So he just left, and so she got really mad. And anybody who's in a relationship know that's really dangerous. So that's kind of how Donald's setting himself up for this particular story. So anyways, right off the bat here, we're starting out in Duckburg. So a lot of this game comes down to revisits. So there's quite a bit of things that build on each other. So one thing that you'll note right away is the ZG, we're starting out here in Mexico, and you're going to see a lot of this slide, right? This slide maneuver is the bread and butter of the movement tech in this game. Because if you actually see Donald walking or even running, it's very, very slow. So we got to go fast. So we're going to go ahead and utilize and abuse the slide whenever we can. And that's a big piece to this. So one thing, again, we've got the yellow plunger, which is what we start out with. We're going to be doing some upgrades over time, and we'll kind of touch base here because, again, it's a speed run, so we skip all the dialogue as fast as we possibly can. All right, so anyways, so we're going to see, very nice, very nice. You see we just caught the edge of that platform there. So there's a couple other instances, too, of that slide tech that are going to make jumps work versus if you potentially fall into a pit.
Oops.
Yeah, you know, again, we're doing some very, very tight maneuvers here with that slide, trying to catch the edge of the platform. So sometimes you do get burned on this game. But yeah, anybody who's played a DuckTales game, you're going to see some themes around this. So we'll see if you can point those out here before I do. Yeah, as commented in chat here, I hate when a plunger hits me and I vibrate continuously. Yes, absolutely. There is some interesting pieces around that plunger, though, and particularly around the hitbox. So certain enemies, the majority of the enemies, when you hit them and they're in that shaking state, obviously they have iframes. They're just kind of sitting there. There are other enemies or other objects that actually will maintain their hitbox, so you can actually stand on them. So right here, we got to the temple and said, oh, sorry, you don't have a key for that. So we go back to Duckburg, walk up to the random guy. He's like, oh, you want a key? Here you go. Have a key. So we were able to then do the revisit and jump back to it. So there's a checkpoint here, so we don't have to go through the full level in order to get access to it. So we're going to continue to slide on our belly. And as a casual player, see, I'm not a speedrunner of this game, but as a casual player of this, There's a lot of things to appreciate about sort of the movement tech in the game. And again, some of these things too that ZG's taking advantage of are around just trying to optimize cycles, because trying to get those two platforms to line up very rapidly. Otherwise, if you have to wait for it, it tends to be a challenge. Because certain things that you get access to, you have to do jump and attack in order to get the timing right. And that's the same thing too also for some boss battles. See, even though the platform's shaking, we can still get up on there. And the ones with springs, obviously, as you can see, we can pass through those. Yep, there you go. It's kind of tricky to get those set up, and once you get those off cycle, you have to wait a little bit of extra time. But again, in addition to the sliding, we've also got a bunch of precise jumping. Okay, so we got Goofy, talks to us and says, and gives us a upgrade to the plunger and also a piece of paper. Now, for casual players, you definitely want to read that piece of paper because it's a clue for later. But if you've played it a few times, you know exactly what he's saying. So we're just going to work our way back here to the beginning of the stage. Now, here's the big question. You just grabbed a chunk of meat. Is that roast chicken? Is that roast duck? I seem to think that Donald's doing a power play and he's eating roast duck, but that's just my call. All right, we're gonna hop back on the airplane here. Gonna head back to Duckburg. Now again, as it relates to the revisits, now that we've gotten the upgraded plunger, this red plunger, we now have the ability to climb up walls. So we can use that as a platform. Do love the boom, by the way. That is a personal favorite of mine. But taking the high road on this is the fastest way to do it. You don't have to deal with all of the things underneath. And again, we have the plunger and we can jump over this stuff, so why not? So here's an auto scroller. Yay! So we're going to jump between the various lines here, avoid the electricity. So what we're picking up too, as you can see, is we're picking up, there was a combination of ice cream, which is a health item, and then the corn, which is for the popcorn shooter. So here we go. So we're now getting another special item here. So we're getting the bubble shooter. So as far as that too, also just a reminder, that character that we grabbed the bubble shooter from, that was the illustrious inventor Gyro, for anybody who knows the canon on this. So now that we have the bubble gun, we're going to be able to expand out where we can go. And the bubble gun also gives us some wonderful, wonderful things that we're going to abuse a little bit later on, which is fantastic. So here's the Transylvania stage here. So you've got obviously the early portion of the stage before we hit the checkpoint. This one can be kind of fun here also for casual players because there are a few jumps that don't seem like they register properly. So the ability to potentially miss, or it's almost like it feels like an even input. But the nice thing is they do give you a one-up, so. All right. So if we didn't have the bubble gun, we'd get a cutscene here where the ghost is chastising us and saying that you can't get here. But he gives us more information about King Garuzia's treasure. So it's obviously not very important, so we're just going to keep going. So the bubble gum can also blow up these barrels, too. But it is one of the cooler songs in the game. So we're going to see in a little bit, actually, one of the first skips in the game. Again, it's an intended skip. So I have to ask the question, a duck can't float? So I didn't know ducks sink. So we'll take the nice easy path here. Again, a very nice jump right there. Again, you have to be very precise when it comes to some of these jumps here to avoid bouncing yourself into the spikes themselves. So we're going to take some damage there so we can jump through the chain ball there. Wet roast duck. Grab the transition trigger. So look at that platform. Hey, it's still here. No, it's actually a hidden platform. So use that to bypass it. That is the required path you have to take. Otherwise, it will loop back around for the casual players out there. ZG's doing a really nice job of setting up the locations here for these ghost spawns. And here is our skip right here. Oh, come on. Again, the momentum and the combination of the momentum and some of the hitbox pieces can make this pretty frustrating.
There we go.
There we go, yep. Excellent.
Instead of having to climb that big wall normally.
Yep. So in this piece here, we're not going to use the bubble to blow up anything. We're going to use that as a platform to get up here. And now boss battle. Dracula. So you're going to see ZG use the plunger. We're trying to get on the first possible frame when he opens up there. For casual players, the popcorn tends to be the better use case for that, just particularly on the last phase. On the last phase, he actually goes up at a higher level. Yep, up at the top of the screen, and there you go. Very nice. We grab a map. So now we're going to go find, or go to the Maharaja's place. Now, it's kind of funny they label it as Maharaja because that's a person, not a place, but okay. So you'll note the first time here in the game that we've got ZG picking up these peppers. So this temper meter's going up.
Missed one.
Oh, missed one. Okay, yeah. There it is. So it's invincibility here for, makes him all mad. He does the ghost pepper challenge and it just upsets him greatly. All right, grab the checkpoint. And now we're going to do a skip here. Very nice. Jumping over there, we're skipping the text box cutscene.
This lovely maze.
Yep. Once you've got the numbers down, you're good to go. But there are multiple doors that are labeled the same number, so just once you've done it a few times, it's second nature. That's kind of tricky just to get the movements when you're doing the slide and jumping out of the slide there. All right, here we go. Now, it turns out the tiger's actually very hungry. So it's going to take longer for the tiger to die than it did for us to kill the tiger. So that was a really, really nice case. Great battle. One of the ways to save the time here in the run is that popcorn attack, because if you use the plunger, it actually will then freeze him in place, and you got to wait for him to unstun. Also, for casual players, the hitbox on that guy is really strange, so you actually have to jump just above standing height to hit him with the plunger. I'm going to slide in quicksand. That makes sense.
One more hot pepper.
All right, I'm very mad. Ghost Pepper Challenge. Okay, so we got our checkpoint here. We're going to go ahead and use that Sphinx tier that we just acquired from the tiger fight. Now, I remember playing this stage casually and having ZG pop in and say, oh, by the way, did you know you could do this? And I will never not play this level without the skip again. So here on the right-hand side, this is a little secret here. You can just climb and bypass a big chunk of the level.
Definitely don't want to go left in that section.
All right, these platforms are garbage. First section is okay. Second section, we're like, oh, okay, now we're going to have the platforms fall. Now, if you're not sliding on those, it's a problem to get enough speed to get off of them. And the problem is, though, when you're sliding, you see ZG doing a really good job of canceling that slide at the right time to be able to then land on the subsequent platform. Here we're going to just run away from some fireballs.
Wait.
So if you remember that earlier piece of paper we were talking about that Goofy gave you. Oh, there we go. Ah, troll. Right there. Fireball. Oh, right there, troll. If you're following the intended route, you'd actually be jumping on the specific floor panels, those tiles. You see the moon there on the left-hand side. But ZG just decides, I don't want to do this, and we're going to skip it. So we picked up the Scepter of Ra, which is our next required item. And it wouldn't be a DuckTales game if it wasn't a minecart. All right, onward we go. Next to the South Pole. So we're, again, optimizing our route, just trying to make sure that we've got the correct items to advance the story at each of those locations. Otherwise, it will tell you, it's just like, oh, hey, I found something, but I can't do anything with it when you're playing this casually. Yeah, the momentum on slopes like this is really strange. So it can definitely throw you off. All right, so we've got a key frozen. Well, what can we do with it? Oh, we can use the Scepter of Ra to melt the ice. And now we get the Viking key. So what do we do with the Viking key? I don't know. Maybe we go to the Viking ship.
Hey, Johnson chat.
Awesome. So yeah, you're gonna have, there's a couple of these falling platforms just to be aware of. Up here, as a casual player, I went, where do I go? Where do I go? You gotta climb up. You get to hop into the bathtub. I mean, the crow's nest, I guess. And then we'll go messing around here on the ropes. Don't die. Oh, just kidding.
Yes, I skipped him.
Yep. So we skip the interaction with that guy who's basically just telling you a sob story that he's lying to you and saying that, yes, he will get to the Viking diary, even though he doesn't. Liar. So we're going to go here, and very rapidly we'll go ahead and jump through a hidden wall to find our way to the boss battle. So this is one of the first uses of, we're going to use the popcorn here. Now there is another strat you can utilize with the bubble. We're going to see that here. So what happens is when he respawns at a fixed location on the opposite side of the screen, relative to where he was before. So if you just keep firing the bubble back and forth, every time his hitbox becomes available, he gets hit. So from a speedrun perspective too, also not using the plunger helps because you don't have him in that stun position, which takes quite a bit of time. Not a bad fight. So now we found out that he lied to us, and but he does give us the green plunger. So now that we have a green plunger, we can do some more fun things, like harass birds. So the green plunger gives us some more holding power there, and so we're just going to go ahead and do a little auto scroller here on the belly of a bird. I'm sure the bird really enjoyed this. But yeah, the whole thing about this game, I'd say, just from speedrunning and just from playing it, is just you really have to be precise when it comes to where you end up, particularly if you're doing anything with sliding. You got to know when to be able to jump out or cancel out of the slide so that you don't immediately fly into water or to spikes or to a water trap or something like that. We have the very dental whales here. I didn't think whales had teeth, but hey, we're not going to object. Again, very nice jumping there. Very nice jumping. So here we're going to do a skip. So the intended route is to go underneath to get this Viking diary. But no, we're going to use the bubbles. We're going to abuse the bubbles.
I jumped. There we go.
Excellent. So by doing that, we're actually able to partially clip into the wall, so we were able to use our bubble gum and break that platform, so we can just skip all of this other stuff underneath. Otherwise, they did try to design it in such a way to prevent you from doing that. Okay, so now we've got Pete coming in and kidnapping the nephews. Or threatening the nephews, said, give me all your stuff. Okay, well, We're gonna go exact some revenge here. So we're gonna go to Pete's hideout. Now this stage is absolutely infamous for one section here that'll be coming up. Anybody who's a casual player and who has spent hours on this stage screaming at the television or yelling at their controller, throwing their controller, etc. Anybody who's played this game knows exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a couple of really trolly pieces here. First things is would be these falling platforms. But hey, a minecart. Let's do a minecart.
Oh boy, this part.
Exactly. The moving platforms. Now, depending on how far across you are on the screen, will dictate whether or not they properly spawn. So you can have situations too where you're moving quick, and the platform that you expect to be there does not exist. So I'll be quiet here in a second for ZG to get through this section. It's fun.
Okay, we're good.
Very good. Sometimes, again, the slide will help you grab the edge of that platform too, if you are just trying to make it there. Very nicely done, ZG.
Another skip coming up.
Yep, we got another skip coming up.
Oh boy, and then it's duck. It's okay.
See, again, when you're using the slide and you're grabbing the edge of those platforms or the hitboxes of the platforms, that's one of the things we got to do is you got to do a slide there, but otherwise you drop just like that.
Whoop.
Very nice. Another roast duck. Then we get to see some more trolley stuff here. All right, so this is the Pete battle. So apparently Pete's in construction. So after you get a hit on him, he has high frames forever. So you're just trying to set up here so you can get these hits on him as quick as possible. Taking out the guys on the right-hand side definitely makes your life a whole lot easier. I want to say this is 7 hits. ZG's getting favorable patterns here when it comes to this, but just setting up. That's nice stuff right there. And again, you can see the track in the background. Okay, there we go, waving the white flag. I give up, I'm giving you your stuff back. So, in the story, it also mentions the fact that if you've got the treasure map, then you can actually dip it in water. It's sort of like Star Tropics, apparently. So we got the location of the Duck Treasure Island, which is where we're at right now. Oh, very nice. All right, these platforms are terrible. So by sliding, you're able to ensure that you're going to grab the edge of the platform. Otherwise, you'll fall to your death many times. one thing that you may not realize, so when you're switching directions, there's a temporary delay between when you switch directions, sort of like holding the momentum. You can see that a little bit with the animation, but it makes it a challenge when you have to flop back and forth from left to right, left to right. We're going to take some boosts here. There we go. And the wonderful moving platforms.
I'm gonna have to wait for this one to come back.
Yeah, when you miss that cycle, it's because you got to get in front of it. Another moving platform here that we're going to use as the intended route. Right there. Nice. Very nice. So we got the Indiana Jones. Only from the leap of the lion's head may he prove his worth. And then we have the most difficult boss in the game. It's a huge challenge. So when he has his sword, he is invincible. Did I say difficult? I didn't mean difficult at all. So what ZG's going to do, ZG's going to use the bubble to continue to hit him on his first available frame that he has when he comes off of iframes. So otherwise what you'd have to do is you pretty much from a casual strat would be utilizing the plunger. He would do his sword swing, throw it out, and then you'd be able to hit him twice per cycle. But since the bubble's got what it's got with the ability to hit on the first available iframe, he pretty much doesn't get to do anything. He might get one. Right there we go. So we got one phase of attack.
Time.
And that's it. Very nice. Very nice, EG.
Thank you.
So, of course, the ending is fun. Daisy's all mad at him because he ran off without saying anything. So, okay, I'm going to give you a present. Okay, the great duck treasure of King Garuzia. This is the stone statue. She wants bling, Donald. She wants bling. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. And then, of course, the one part that all of the runners always say, get mad at, why couldn't he fly earlier? Come on. Seriously. Awesome. Well, ZG, I'll let you go ahead and wrap things up here. Great run. Again, showing off that tech and the movement, just some of the precise moves.
Thank you, no diggity. So yeah, guys, this is one of my favorite Sega Genesis games to speedrun, and like I said, it's easy to screw up on certain areas, and then you have to end up starting the whole section all over again. But the game is pretty nice with the amount of hit points it gives you and the amount of lives you happen to start with and happen to get along the way. But otherwise, all these knife skips I was able to learn from Gym Time John and all the top runners of this game made this speedrun very valuable experience. And I just want to say thank you everyone for watching, and no diggity for being on commentary.
Good to be here.
And yes, please enjoy the rest of the marathon for more good Sega goodness. And I'll pass it off to Dagron, who's about to be setting up for Pulse, man. Take care, everyone.